Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to work on week 36 in my 2022 Project Life album. I grabbed out, I think this is the June Studio Calico Documenter kit. It kind of is moving into spring in these photos despite the snowman down there. And so I wanted a few kind of brighter, cheerier colors. This is definitely kind of a summery kit, so it sort of worked nicely. Now, I'm not kind of restricting myself to any kind of color scheme this week. I'm just pulling out cards that I like. I've got another one of those trimmed down 3x3 square photos, which I quite liked. So I'm finding a card to go in the background of that. I've got a smaller square. I've got kind of a photo collage and a screenshot. So a whole bunch of different kind of photos this week. There weren't that many kind of 4x6 cards that I loved in this kit, so I'm just using some colorful ones. I struggled with what to add for the title card because I've got those like multicolored alphas to use and I struggle with them at the best of times, so for now I'm just going to ignore my title card and just move on with the rest. There are not a huge array of embellishments in this kit, and I kind of like it for weeks like this because I really just wanted to do it super quickly and just get it done. So there are a few chipboards in here that I can still use, just they're not like totally summer themed, so I'm going to add those in the appropriate places. I loved this happy place sticker, look at me, embracing green. I added a wee green heart to the collage of Queen Elizabeth, and I swapped out one of the die cut kind of tags for a chipboard arrow as well. Just it felt like springy to me. Now I'm going to add one more down here. This is a screenshot from the Pinkfresh Studio Create and Connect event. I've got a bunch of photos, but I've used them elsewhere, so this was the one that was going in this week. And there was this perfect little die cut in here, Stay Cool. We had a unseasonal snowstorm, so I made my nephew Jack a little snowman. He didn't get snow where he lived. He wanted to see a snowman, so I made this tiny one. And when I say tiny, that's like the railing of our deck, so he's less than fist-sized. A tiny little snowman. So the Stay Cool, it just got a little bit lost on its own, so I ended up putting one of those peachy label stickers underneath it, and because then that I've used that peachy sticker, I wanted to use one in this photo of Lil as well, and so I shuffled a few of those photos around a little bit so that the labels weren't one on top of each other. Now I decided that for the title card I would just go back to white cardstock, just keep it a little bit simpler for those multicolored alphas, and I had this idea that I would use one of those tags for the actual numbers, so there's no numbers in this alpha set. I thought I would stamp some numbers onto one of the little tags, but they just kind of didn't look good on the white cardstock, so I've given up on that idea. I don't still have a plan at this point. I'm just going to put the alphas down. Luckily there were 2 E's in this set, so I can spell out week, and I can spell out week without like overlapping the colors, so I can have 4 different colors. Still have no plan. I'm just going to go ahead and stick the alphas down and kind of hope something comes to me. Now I do end up like turning the camera off and having a bit of a think about it because I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, and what I decided was to fill up this kind of blank space on the right hand side of the card. I would add one of the 3x4 journaling cards. There are a ton of them. I've got plenty to use. I'm going to pick out a pattern and then I'm going to stamp my week numbers on top of that. So I ended up going for something not quite as colourful, so it does have the same kind of blue that's in a few places on the spread, but it's a little bit simpler, so it's not competing with those alphas. It's not going to compete with my stamps, although I am going to stamp them black, but it's not too busy, so it's just a nice background, a nice difference on the side of that card. So again, speaking of alphas, I'm going to stamp my week numbers on here, and I'm going to stamp them in black. There are a lot of kind of darker spots on my photos this week, so the black really kind of makes sense, especially since the rest of this card is so light, so it gives it that kind of real contrast. I do mess up on the stamping here. I stamped it. I was trying to get it so straight and then stamped it onto the ruler instead. So it's a little bit mucky, but it is how it is. I added another one of those peachy labels underneath there so I can put my date stamping onto there. That also gives me that kind of 3, so there's 3 of those labels on there, and I do love a rule of 3 on here. Now there were some tiny kind of like little, I'm going to call them stars, the little diamondy kind of stars in that alpha set. I decided just to sprinkle them around the number and kind of tie those two halves of that card together a little bit more. So it brings some of those colors onto there. And then apart from running my journaling card through my typewriter, that's the whole week done. This was a super quick week to put together. It's bright, it's colorful, and I'm happy to have it done and dusted. Hey, thanks for watching today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, I'm going to leave a couple of videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you again really soon. Bye.